Welcome to another episode of Love Living Local 315. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Greats, and today we are joined by Ryan Miller, director of MVCC's Thincubator, founder of Rust Belt Startup and powerhouse behind local entrepreneurship, community building, and creative storytelling right here in the Mohawk Valley. And right before we hit record, Ryan hits us with, he's never been on a podcast before, which I find...
A guest on a podcast.
Yeah, well,
right.
I've been on his podcast.
Well, I know.
You've given commencement speeches. Yeah. You're involved in everything that is, Utica, Central New York. You're truly a powerhouse. Who is not having you on their podcast?
I just don't know. Why is this? You're the, are there a lot of podcasts locally? I don't know.
I don't want to get weird early in this conversation, but yes.
Yeah.
And then why are they? Maybe they're just scared of you.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to feel really bad if someone has, and I totally
and you
don't
totally
remember.
forgot
I don't
and
think
blocked
so,
it out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh man. Well, listen, your path is insane. I don't know how we're going to do this in 30 to 40 minutes, but from music to media to entrepreneurship, where to begin, man?
I've lived here my whole life, right? So when you talk about someone that's been kind of a lifelong, I don't know, Mohawk Valleyan or Utica. I grew up in New York Mills, so it's like not technically Utica, but have seen kind of the ebbs and the flows of things. So I guess I've been around long enough to maybe spot some trends and maybe think about how what our opportunities are as a region. I don't know if that's any kind of lead in at all, but I don't know. I've done a bunch of stuff, and
let's go back. Let's go back to like New York Mills, right? Yeah. Graduating. Did you have any clue? Do you still have a clue?
What's funny?
Because you and I are a lot alike. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, right?
Man, when I graduated Mills, it was 99. My senior year, all I wanted to do was travel, and I think still to this day, like one of the most amazing things that I've ever, I feel like that has affected my life is I planned a 1 month backpacking Europe trip after graduated from Mills. It was like July 3rd, got on a plane. It was gone from, this is 99. Mm-hmm. Went with a friend of mine, and we went from basically London down to Rome. But this was, there was internet, but it wasn't like, you didn't have a cell phone, right? And I can't believe my parents let me do this, right? And that was, I think, just this moment where I fell in love with travel and honestly, like, never thought I would come back here. Like, and I remember my dad talking to me a couple months ago I can't remember, we were all at dinner or something. And he said, like, we're stunned that you're not just here, that you're in New York State, that you're in the United States, and that's just kind of the way that it worked out, because then I went to Ithaca College for business because I had no idea. Actually, I wanted to be I wanted to make records. And, because I was in a band for a long time, and I went to Ithaca, and I couldn't get into the music school. I wasn't good.
It's a great music school.
Yeah. Well, apparently too good for me.
Don't feel bad.
So I got into, but if you're in one of the schools, you can take classes in the other schools, right? So I started taking audio production, and within, I don't know, like the first semester, they just ground everything that I loved about audio production into dust. And I was like, this is horrible. So I left the program, and just ended up with a business degree, and then was like, now what?
Yeah.
So came back.
What was the next?
Oh man, I've done a bunch of different things.
Well, what was the immediate after college?
I kind of thought I would do the band thing for a while. So I was in a band called Reuben James for years. Then I worked for a family friend who had started up a kitchen and bathroom design business. And I quickly determined I was not very good at I'm better at moving bits than I am at moving atoms, because you measure things, like when you're putting in, these did some high-end kitchens and stuff, you measure a countertop, you're off by a half an inch, you got a big problem, right? So there's no undo button in that business. I had a hard time with that. And then I worked for an internet startup that went bust here. The way I found out that it was going bust is we'd get our checks. They would write the checks, but then they wouldn't clear, right?
That's a good indicator.
Yeah. And so then eventually we were kind of like hip to this. And so we found out the bank that I can't remember the name of the bank they're using. We'll not use it. But we would go to just get the cash out, right, of the actual account instead of waiting to see if there was money. And they're very nice there, and they knew that there was a problem. And so some days we would go and they would not cash the checks, but they would give us a bunch of the lollipops like they give little kids as a consolation prize. And so then I knew I had to figure something else out. Yeah.
So let's go to the something else.
Yeah.
Should we start with Thincubator?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Totally.
tell us about it.
So my short pitch is that we're a startup that helps startups start up. And
which is super exciting.
It should be. Yeah. I mean, I think so. It's the greatest, you talk about what do you think you do for a long period of time. I had no idea what a business incubator was when I kind of got offered this opportunity and thought, oh, I'll do it for a few years and see how it goes. And I've been there doing this 10 years now. I think it's the thing that it's like absolutely the thing I'm supposed to be doing right now. So we work with individuals and students and existing companies, people that want to get a business off the ground here in the Mohawk Valley. And, we do a lot of programs and trainings, and I spend a lot of my time in this, what you guys are doing here. It's just like, I'm kind of a therapist for a lot of people, Entrepreneurs, it's a lonely business, as you know, it can be lonely at times. And so you just need a set of eyes or a person to talk to help you unblock things.
Or a person to ask for help.
Totally.
For sure. Like, I think this next generation is more entrepreneur in nature than our generation was. And the thing I love about, they're not afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like, oh my gosh, I can do everything myself, and I don't need your help.
Afraid to try things.
Exactly.
Take risks. Where we had, I feel like in our generation we had to know that we could do this before we would take 5 years to start something that takes an hour.
Yeah.
These guys will just jump right into it, and what's cool about what you do is, as I say all the time, you can't always read the label when you're trapped in the bottle. And a lot of these young entrepreneurs, they have thoughts and ideas, but they're in the bottle and they're passionate about their dream and vision. And then someone like you can come in and see it in a little different light and add some perspective. Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I try not to crush them. One of the things that happened a lot is, so I get the two main questions I still get. One is, hey, can you give me some money? Right? No, I don't have any money.
That's an easy one.
It's like, do you have any grants?
I can give you lollipops.
Lollipops. I think there's a misconception out there that there are tons of grants out there for these small for-profit businesses. They're just not. Like, you got to have some skin in the game. And then the second question I used to get all the time was, so what do you think? Is this a good idea or a bad idea? And I used to tell people. And now I absolutely do not, because I think it's doing a disservice to folks, because what do I know? You know what I mean? Like, if I say it's a bad idea, but this is your dream, you're just going to get upset at me and going to go try to do it anyway. And if I tell you it's a great idea and it fails, this is my fault.
Right.
And so I don't. My job now is I try to figure out, how do we create a version of this business that we can test quickly and cheaply, and like the market's going to tell you if this is a good idea, right? That's kind of where I've landed.
And then you adapt, and to your point, if you say it's a bad idea, it might be a bad idea.
But how can you make it a good idea?
Now,
yeah.
Right? But that doesn't kill the vision and the dream, right? Yeah. And how many times does the final product, if there is such a thing, it looks so much different than where it all started.
100% of the time.
And frankly, that's why consulting work is the best, because you can never be wrong.
Yeah, right. Yeah, ask McKinsey, right? Yeah, but it's also, to your point though, it's when I look at a lot of folks that want to do a knowledge-based business or a digital-based business, there's never been a better time to do it, because it's the overhead is low, right? Like if you said, hey, I want to start a podcast studio, I want to start a coffee shop. Like, great, we're going to have to get you like $90,000 in funding. Like, that is so hard. Yeah. And I think sometimes folks have the picture in their mind of the thing that they want to do, but what we have to do is the version 1 before we can get to version 5. Because it just is so expensive. Expensive.
Talk about Thinc. Let's stay there for a minute, because it's an amazing space, right? Owned by MVCC. So who can visit the space, who can utilize the space, who can take advantage of the programs? Like, I know it's an MVCC facility, but do you have to be tied to the college, or can anybody?
Funny. I tell everyone we're like Puerto Rico. Like, some people think we're part of the union, some people think we're not part of the union. So anyone can utilize it. Everything's appointment only. So we kind of got like two ways to work with this. One is the Small Business Development Center is also in there. They're a great resource. You're trying to start a business or work on business plans, getting loans and lending, like that. That is their superpower, and they do a fair amount of advisement too. I think I tend to work with people that are like, I got this idea, right? Like, where do we start? So a lot of times people will work with me on. I run these Wednesday night boot camps called Refinery. That's over 6 weeks. We're going to just kind of kick the tires on this idea, and folks that launch or are making progress, they can apply to be an incubated company if they go through a program. Basically, what that means is I'm going to work with you for up to a period of 3 years, and you can utilize the facility at no charge. And there's some data share and stuff like that, and you got to be growing, but that's part of our grant structure. The other way is that if you just want a space to work that's really cool and meet some nice people, we have a co-working program that is just a fee for service, and we give you a key to the building and you set up shop there. So we've got about 43, 44 folks that are just coworkers that pay us a fee, and that's where they do their business.
Which is huge because COVID definitely changed the way a lot of people do business.
Yeah.
So many people work remote, but in a situation where they need to meet with a client or something, they don't want them in their home.
Correct.
And so this offers them the space that they need for a professional environment, maybe not Monday through Friday, but once or twice a month. For
it's
sure.
24/7.
Well, it could be, but I'm just saying a lot of people don't have that need to be in a professional setting every day. Every day. So that's awesome.
It's a space where that's exactly, I think you hit the nail on the head, where it's people that want that professional vibe, but they don't want to work necessarily at a coffee shop every day. And what we found too is there's a lot of folks that are there that become the first customers of other people that are there, which is kind of cool.
The networking.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I launched this in see, the thing is, it's in my line of work, I very seldom meet people that are just like, hey, I quit my job, I'm starting a business. Let's go, right? Most people that I work with are working 1, 2, sometimes 3 jobs, right? And they see entrepreneurship as a way to better their economic circumstances. Maybe I could do this and then leave one or two of my jobs. But the consequence of that is that they're busy during the day, right? So a lot of my programs, my boot camps are at night, and I work with a lot of people. There's a lot of cars from parking lots at lunchtime, right? Because people are trying to figure this out. And I started the co-working part of it in it's 2017 maybe, and no one understood it. They'd come in and they'd say, "This is great. Where would my office be?" I'm like, "Well, anywhere you want." And they'd be like, "I don't."
It's like Southwest, right? People just can't figure out how to get on a Southwest plane.
Open seating,
right? Whatever you want. And it just bombed. And then we obviously shut down. But COVID, I think it pulled the future forward.
Yeah.
And now everybody gets it.
For sure.
Yeah. And there's such a unique. You have everything. You have recording studios, you have soundproof rooms, you have conference rooms, you have dedicated offices, you've got open space. Yeah. You can get your mail there. You can. Right. Yeah. I mean, so it's a great location on Broad Street. It's great parking, and it's modern. Right. Yeah. I mean, just the vibe is so cool. I still use so many pictures that we took with the wall and the backdrop. I love your mantra of relationships rather than resumes. Talk a little bit about the who instead of the how, right? Because you get a lot of questions around the how, and you can help a lot of people with the how, but the who gets a little confusing for people. Yeah. So how do you integrate the relationship aspect into the entrepreneurial journey? Yeah, I think I'm going to hedge a little bit because my wife is in career services at MV, so she's really good at the resume part. I'm bad at that. But also I think, and I'm using just myself as an example, almost all of the best opportunities that I've had, and I'm the luckiest dude I know. I just am. Have come through relationships and not. I joke, I'm not qualified for anything on paper. You know what I mean? I couldn't run a Denny's, and it's been through building relationships and kind of playing that long game of meeting the right people, asking some of the right questions, and just being willing to don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Sometimes I meet a lot of young people and they're like, I need to go here now. Yep. And I tell this story about, I don't know if you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino at all. Sure. Mm-hmm. Right. So so he, when he was starting out, he worked at something video. What was a video store? And he wasn't trained in film school, but I tell everyone what he did. If you're in a crappy job, if you're going to be in a crappy job, be in a crappy job that is dream adjacent. And so, he was at a video store, but what he did is he watched videos all day and learned the craft of what worked in a shot and how do you light and how do you do a story arc, right? And so, on its face, that was a crappy job, but he used his time in a way that he could extract something from it. And I think that's one of the things I try to get young people to think about is who's the person there at your crappy job or at your non-perfect job that is going to give you that next opportunity, or what's a thing that you can
you can take from that that's going to get you your next opportunity. And if you can't identify either of those things, go get another crappy job.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's just wrote down the proximity rule.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and even if I'll use a kind of a stupid example, but you know, if you want to get into golf or whatever, like get a job, you know,
maintaining a golf course.
Yeah, like weed eating at a golf course, and you're going to run into professional golfers and people who can, you know, connect you. And but yeah, I mean, it's so funny that you say you're not qualified to do anything, and if someone asks me, what does Ryan Miller do? You know, maybe that's a difficult question to answer, but at its simplest, you know, point, you help people.
Mm-hmm. You're helping people to be successful.
You are the definition of a super connector. Like, you know, I don't know if there's anything I personally could need help with that I couldn't go to you and you could connect me to someone who could potentially help me. But it's true, right? And so, you know, maybe you're not qualified to do anything other than help people and connect people, which is the most important thing you're qualified to do, which is awesome.
You know, there was this guy, I'm on the board of a company called Human Technologies, and when we had our last CEO, Tim Giaruzzo, had taken the role, one of the things we asked of him was, we were like, Tim, we want you to have a cup of coffee every week with a community leader, and you got to get them to introduce you to the next community leader. And if you need help, call us, we'll plug you in. But like, our expectation is that you're going to do, you know, 52 coffees this year, and then you're going to do it again. And he did way more than that, right? And that simple act of, you know, it's not asking for something. It's just like there are people here that want to help you, but it is proximity. It is getting the reps in. And by the end of the first year, everybody knew who Tim Giaruzzo was. And I think that's just such a useful tactic, is just, can you just meet a new person every week and buy a cup of coffee and just learn what they're about? No sales calls, no, you know, just meet people.
Just put yourself out there.
So secret, you know, no secret now, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
We offered you a coffee, you declined it, but you know, every week we meet someone new.
Yeah.
And then inevitably they're like, hey, you know who else you have to talk to? Yep. And then we get to meet people in their network, and you know, here we are 2 years later, and people know us, and they probably shouldn't, or they might not be glad they do, but you know.
Well, and you got, you know, you're in being in the insurance business, and you're in the relationship business. That's what you do, right?
Yeah.
I think, and we're all in the sales business, and sales is the thing that, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier about, like, being nervous. Like, anytime, like, I'm so bad at selling anything, and so the way that I think I compensate for that is, like, let's just get the reps in and meet people, and then, like, something will click at some point, where I don't have to maybe do the hard ask, but maybe you're top of mind. You know what I mean? And in my refinery program, that's the hardest part, is I tell people, like, the third weekend, I'm like, great, you got to go talk to 10 customers, right? And because that's the hard part. It's all in your head. The minute it meets, it has impact with potential customer, that's a scary place to be. Right?
Well, let's talk about, you mentioned your wife works for MVCC as well. Yeah. I've got to say that I'm seeing a different trend with our area seniors. A lot of kids are choosing MV to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
The expectation is not, you need to go to a 4-year college to be successful. Do you find yourself working at Thincubator with a lot of kids, or do you find people that are mid-age that know that they're not happy in their corporate world and they know they need to make a change?
That's 90% of it.
That's what I was thinking.
90% of it.
Okay.
You know, and there's a lot of different reasons. You know, you hit different life stages, and
you just have a moment where you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and sometimes it's economics. Sometimes it's, you know, we got 2 little kids. Like, more often than not, it's like, it's flexibility. People just need more flexibility, and there is a little bit of a conflation sometimes with, is this my dream or is this a business, right? And they're 2 different things. Like, I meet a lot of people that want to do a retail location. They love the idea of owning a boutique, right? And I'm like, that is the hardest thing one could possibly do, right?
Yeah, especially nowadays,
right? And when you start unpacking it, it's like, well, so do you understand that this needs to be a giant volume business, that you need to sit at a physical location all day or pay someone to do it?
Right.
It's just harder and harder to do it, but they like the idea of the picture in their head of
owning it,
right? It's because it's not a bad idea, but it's not in most cases, it's not a great economically sound idea in most cases, you know,
for their time, for sure. Yeah.
You know, when we talk entrepreneurship, you're in an interesting spot, because you're a W-2 employee. Right?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not.
I'm
okay,
not.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the college just you're
I'm
contracted.
Yeah. So
okay.
In contract,
which a lot of people are now.
I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah. So when I got this opportunity, they had said, well, it's because of grant funded. So that was like, I was scared, number one, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you got to quit your job, start a company, and we'll put you under contract.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know how to start. Like, I was going to help people start companies. I don't know how to do this.
Here's your test, Ryan.
Right?
Can you do this, and then we'll contract you.
So I got my brother, who's a CPA, and he helped me through it. And yeah, so I technically run my own. So I'm a W-2 employee of my own company.
I gotcha.
Right.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it's been on contract, and that's great because you have a lot of that flexibility. It's kind of like here's the goalpost. Like figure out how to get there. I really like that challenge of like just figure it out. But the other side of that is contractors just Latin for no health insurance and no retirement. You know what I mean?
Must be nice.
So
that's what everybody says. Must be nice.
Yeah. So there's these other challenges that you got to kind of figure out.
So is that how Rust Belt Startup started?
Yeah. Well, technically, the company is Ryan C. Miller Enterprises, but it just needed to do something, right? And then it's long, can't fit on a check, it's dumb, and and so I just like a few years in when I was starting to do. When I wanted to do the podcast, I was like, I got to get a different name, And so I worked with Ryan McGrogan Design, and he came up with a logo, and then I've slowly like shifted that branding and everything in. And it's funny, I worked with another marketing company, and there's always this like, so what are you? Are you Thincubator? Are you Rust Belt? What are you? And so Rust Belt Startup has kind of evolved into the podcast and like my freelance and consulting. But the interesting thing that the marketing team that I work with came up with is they're like, nobody cares about Rust Belt Startup. Everyone knows you. Mm-hmm. And so the distinction the unlock for me was they said, well, it should be Rust Belt Startup by Ryan Miller. I was like, that's it. Because they're like, you're the brand. You should just own it. Like really, Rust Belt Startup's never going to be a team of people, I don't think.
Well, and that Scott preaches that all the time. That's where the world is going, is you need to build your brand with your name to set you apart from other companies that are doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So talk about the podcast.
Yeah. So it was, we were, talking a little bit offline earlier where I think we started in a similar spot where I was, I've been doing this entrepreneurship development for years, and it's just like when you want to get better at basketball, you got to keep playing with people that are better than you. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to build my network with folks that were just like really world-class, or like, A players and B players. I'd reach out to people on, at that time, Twitter and an email, and just be like, hey, can I pick your brain? I mean, you probably get that a lot too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, someone wants to pick my brain. I don't have time for anyone to pick my brain. But I was on the other side of that. I'm like, can I pick your brain or buy you a cup of coffee, right? And many people just said, oh, that's just Latin for free consulting.
Right.
And they're like, no, I'm busy. Or sure, you can hire me. Here's what I offer. And I was just trying to expand a network and just get to know people that I think are much more astute at what I was doing than I am. And I got a lot of no's. And then I was like, well, you want to be on a podcast? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And so that was
buzzword right now.
And so that's kind of how it started. It was literally just a Trojan horse. When I first started, I'm like, I don't care if anyone ever listens to this ever, because it was just an unlock for me to build my own personal network. Because I think once you spend an hour with someone talking, like, we got context now, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to feel bad at all, like, texting either of you after this. Like, we know each other now. So that was kind of where it started, and it just kind of went from there, Yeah. So it's a passion project.
Yeah. And it's awesome to learn from other people. Like,
totally.
I mean, you could Google something, you could read a book, but to have a conversation with someone, so much more meaningful.
100%.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I teach relationship marketing, right? And take it to the next level, being strategic and intentional, turning your relationships into revenue. And people are always like, I get the, I get it. Well, how do I do it? Mm-hmm. Like, how do I start?
Yeah.
And, my answer is, well, interview someone, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how do you interview someone? And, what you can do without all the equipment in the podcast, and where I started, was just a little mini blog.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'd say, Ryan, I'd love to come, do a little feature on your business, like a newspaper reporter. Right. And I've got X number of thousands of people in my social media audience, and we'll cross pollinate and tag each other, and really just all about you, hype up. And after a 20, 30-minute conversation, now we know each other. That's right. And so there's you don't have to hire me anymore. You guys know the answer now. Go go interview people, right? But it has to be servant heart, right? It has to be what's in it for you. I'm not there. None of this is for me. It will benefit me eventually, but it's to serve you and introduce you to my audience and help promote you and your business. No ask. And that's probably the biggest mistake people make out of the gate is, can I pick your brain? Don't ask Ryan for something. You got to give Ryan something first before you can ask.
That's totally it.
You've worked with students and refugees and seasoned founders. I'm fascinated by common denominator success habits. Like what common traits do you see with all the different people that you've worked with where you're like, they have this?
Number one, they're solving a problem, right? Like all the easy businesses are taken, right? Like if you're like, I could start this because it seems easy, it's taken. So I think some of the common threads are they're solving something that might be a little bit more complex. They're doing something that people don't want to do. Some of the best businesses are going to be like, remediation, junk removal, right? Like, I meet people that make a ton of money doing that stuff. Sure. And then there's also, people that prepare to have a little bit of runway. You got to have some skin in the game where sometimes the expectation is, I'm just going to start this and it's going to go off like a rocket. You got to be able to stick it out because it's going to suck. It's just going to suck.
Yeah.
Right?
And so many people that we've interviewed, I mean, Grazaday's one, even, our son Connor, like when they get started, work for free to get yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? You have to establish
it.
That portfolio or that, like, here's what I can do, but nobody paid me to do this. But this is what I can do.
Or I tell everyone, get people to pay with attention. Like if you're good at something, like,
that's great.
So when I do talks or keynotes and stuff, like speaking is a race to the bottom because everyone wants to speak, right? And so we've automatically like lowered the fee structure in most cases. And so I'll get asked to speak at a place, but I really try to put a lot of time into developing a workshop or keynote. And so I'll say, great, this is what my fee is. And then 90+% of the time, people are like, whoa, we're not going to pay you. We don't have any money. And then you have a decision to make. And so but this is kind of the process where I've established the value, right?
Yes.
Like you got to establish the value, and then I can either say no, right? I have to do this for a fee, or you could reduce your fee, but more often than not, if it's something that is interesting to me, or I just think it's a good thing to do, I'll say, you know what, I'm going to waive the fee. Instead, what I'd really like is to get a Google review from your CEO and some photos for my LinkedIn profile and a testimonial. And that's something that they can do, and I can leverage that. So pay with attention if you can.
Yeah. There's nothing greater than attention, right? Building your social media audience. I've gotten heavy into the book space, book publishing. It's this whole wild world that I didn't know existed. And I'm going to say this, it's going to sound ugly, but it's just true. Publishers don't care how good your book is. They don't give a shit.
Can you sell a book?
Right. How many can you sell?
Yeah.
How big is your audience, right? It's a for-profit. And so the first thing that they're going to ask you about is who's in your audience, right? And so building your audience, building your personal brand, helping people understand quickly, what's that one word problem that you can help them solve? Because the amount of money you will make, if that's your thing in life, is directly proportionate to the size of the problem you solve.
That's it.
Period. To your point, like, and no knock on coffee shops or pizzerias, but we've got a few around here. Like, unless you have a unique niche or a different way to do it, like Westie's is, that we talked about with Javon, like, all right, you're another coffee shop, you're another pizzeria. Yeah. What problem can you solve for people that they're like, ooh, in 1 second, I need that?
Yeah, I think that's really key. I think where you can compete on some of these existing ones that I've seen is I try to get people to think about in that journey of service, right? From that first impact to receipt even. If you were to rate like kind of what those touch points are and the quality of those touch points, what's the quality of that service? Is it, in a lot of cases, a lot of industries, it's god awful, right? And so if you're going to do something, if you can compete on that customer journey where if you're just bad, but everyone else has god awful, like you can win, right? Like I think about,
we call that insurance.
Yeah. right. Or like I think about it, people in the contracting business, right? Like who do you go with sometimes? The person that called you back.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I get that from website development. I'm like, well, how'd you hear about us? Well, you called me back. No one else did, right? Like,
crazy. So
the standard of service is really, really terrible. So if I can just be bad, I think you can build existing businesses that can compete as long as that standard of care is really low. because that's something you can people pay for that.
Sure.
You know.
Okay, so let's talk about Utica. A lot of people assume you need to be in a big city to launch something meaningful and successful. How do you counter that belief through like us being located in Utica?
I mean, I think that in a lot of ways they're right when you're early on in your career, but because of proximity, right? There's just a lot of like if you're trying to climb this ladder or get to a certain destination, a lot of times there are just more at bats at a larger city. There just is. On the other side of it, I think back to like coming home. I remember coming home after graduating college, and I was at it was a Planet Fitness, and a lot of my friends had moved away. I ran into a friend of mine's mom, and this was a few months after I got back, and I'll never forget. She was like, "I thought if anyone would have gotten out of here, you would have," and that really stung, because it's like, are you calling me a failure for like you live here?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, what does that say? And I think the flip side of that is because in those early 2000s, like 2003, 2005, there wasn't a ton going on. I think the absence of a scene creates opportunity. Like, I don't think that I could, if I moved to Austin, I do not think I'd be successful. If I moved to Boston, I don't think I'd be successful. I think I was uniquely positioned to be successful here because of what some might perceive as a lack of opportunity. There was a vacuum.
Yep.
And so I think identify the white space and see if you can fill it in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
We say it all the time, and it bears repeating that, I think the opportunities we have are because we're in a city that's big enough, but not too big.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that. You asked the question, like, is Utica a small, big city or a big, small city?
We got to grapple with that.
Yeah.
And I think we got to figure out, like, I don't know if there's one answer, but I do think it's an interesting question that we should start asking. What do we want to be?
Right.
Or even just, I think, looking at where things are at in your town or your city. There's like two. I was talking with a person a couple weeks ago, and I'm just fascinated by this idea of like building of community building and placemaking, and how do we as a city or as a town or a village are like literally articulate like what does this look like to you? Like, what does success look like to you? Is it a walkable downtown? Is it no traffic? Is like, what are the things that you want? And then you got to like juxtapose that with, are you willing to support them? Because it's one thing to say, man, I wish we had a bunch of coffee shops, but if you haven't gone to patronize them, there's a gap here.
Disconnect there. Yeah.
Right? You got to make, and I don't like the term of like support local businesses. Like, you still got to be good. But I do think it's both sides of this. You got to have the people that are willing to build it, but you have to have people that are willing to invest their time, their money, their talent, their treasure.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing.
What do you see as the next opportunity here?
The North Star that I always come to when I think about my work with Thinc or just being a connector or just someone that lives here is like, number one, can I create a place that my kids might want to stay, right? Number one. Number two is there's this like idea, what if, like when you think of Portland or Seattle, I think of like craft beer. I think of there's these like lifestyle things, right? These amenities of living there. I don't necessarily think of Boeing. Kind of the mission with Thinc is originally, I joke that like a lot of these incubators and accelerators, man, I keep hitting the mic. A lot of these incubators and accelerators were founded around like, how do we bring high scalable tech to like every region of New York? And there are people doing really great work at that. And finally, after a decade, I'm starting to see some high scalable tech. But I was always waiting for, Zuckerberg to walk through the next whatever, right? Name your sociopathic CEO founder, right? and that was kind of what I thought maybe success would be. And I'm a complete 180 on that because what I've settled on, I shouldn't say completely. I want to support technology. We need it. We absolutely need it. But what if, what I see a lot of is folks trying to just make a better life here. What if I can be successful in seeding 50, 60 small businesses that are culturally significant? I don't mean like ethnically culturally significant. I mean, contribute to the culture of what it means to live in the Mohawk Valley, right? my kind of thesis is if I can help make that successful, that's going to create a place that other people want to come to and that larger businesses want to invest in. So it's kind of like doing it from the bottom instead of doing it from the top.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of great people doing it from the top. Like they got that covered, right?
Yeah.
Edge is doing that. Like everybody's doing that. But I'm trying to do it from the bottom. So maybe we can meet in the middle.
Yeah.
So I see that opportunity is like, how could you in theory make the Mohawk Valley literally the greatest place in the entire country to start a small business, right? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
We can debate that, but that is our North Star, I think, is a really interesting question. I don't know if we've ever really hashed that out. Like, where's the greatest place to start a small business in America right now? How do we do that?
Right.
Yeah. And I love the word culture, and you're right. And I appreciate you defining that. It's not ethnicity. It can be a part of it, but it's like office culture, right? When you walk into a place for an interview, right? Do you feel it?
It's the feeling
the
that
vibe,
you get.
know, and like, oh, this is a warm, welcoming, inclusive, like happy place. Like I want to go to work there, right? And how do you build a community that when people are a part of it, they feel it? And we have that.
We do.
We
right?
definitely, the people
and
here,
how do you scale it?
and I'm telling you, people are passionate about this area on both ends of the spectrum. You get people that are passionate about the great things that we think that we have to offer. And then you get people that are passionate and that are just negative. And it's hard. You got to kind of block them out.
Yeah.
They're just angry and there's nothing good here and whatever. But we do have passionate people in this in this
people.
area. Yeah.
And
that
growing,
are proud to be from here. So my question is, for someone sitting on a great idea but unsure where to start, what's your advice for their best first step?
Oh, that's a great question. I think my advice is where I start with all of my folks that I'm working with on the boot camp is, instead of saying, this is my idea, can you reframe it in terms of, this is the problem I solve for this kind of person? If you can't clearly, and not like, this is the problem I solve for women, this is the problem I solve for men, like, this is the problem I solve for, single dads with a kid that's working full time, that's trying to do a better job of getting their kid to read. I don't know, making this right. Like, you got to be able to flip it that way, because we're in the business. You got to be in the business of value creation. If you're not creating value, how do you expect anyone to pay you for it?
Yes.
So that's the first step.
Target your audience.
And if you can't articulate that, like, that's okay. Like, but maybe you should look at trying something else, right? Or I look at, I tell a lot of college students, every time, like, get a notes app. I call it 99 Problems, and every time you're like, damn or crap, like, why are you having that reaction? Write down why you're having that reaction, because there's a problem that you need to solve. And then try to cross-reference that with, like, would I pay someone to solve that?
Yeah.
And it's it's not always learning how to solve the problem. It's learning how to see the problem is where I think you got to start.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
That is.
I talk a lot about creating your perfect customer avatar, which is what you just described. What does he or she look like? What are, their age, their income range? What do they like to do, outside of work? What are they passionate about? Give that avatar a face, give that avatar a name.
Yeah.
And, then as you go through your life, you start looking at things differently. Like you just mentioned, like, hey, Anthony, the avatar would appreciate this or needs this. And,
or not even that, but just like for me, what I took from that is like, okay, what frustrates me throughout my day? What would make my day so much easier and so much better? Like if I could figure that out. Who did you see that the creator of Spanx there? What's her name?
Yeah.
I mean, amazing story. Like just a woman who wanted to put on clothes and feel good in her clothes. Like she created a billion dollar business.
She's likely the first
to just
billionaire.
sit and say, what would make my life better, easier, less frustrating, and how can I help other people with that?
I got to see Sarah Blakely in person, and she goes, I didn't set out to create $1 billion company.
Great
she goes,
story.
I set out to create comfortable pants that made my butt look good.
Exactly. For real. Something I felt good wearing. Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
She solved the problem. I mean, she solved a very real problem.
Yeah. All right. We'll do one more question, then we'll end on our rapid fire, because this is such a Ryan Miller
Is this going okay?
phrase.
Oh my God, it's great.
We'll talk about it off camera. How do you answer that question, Ryan? That is a very difficult question. Yes,
I think it's fantastic.
Smashingly well. Engineered serendipity.
Yeah, it's a function of the coffee, right? Like, how do you kind of increase the surface area for luck to happen. I mean, one of the examples I use for young people is if you look back, or if I look back at moments or people that have drastically changed the trajectory of your life, you probably didn't know that that's what it was going to do in the moment, right? Where you can't really anticipate the thing that's going to shift your life by 1 degree, but over a decade, it's the difference between a plane landing from New York in London and landing in Paris from New York, right? And so being open to these possibilities to create connections and things to happen, it's just a numbers game. I think because we are not great at seeing the thing that is going to change our life, sometimes people wait for, like, I'll wait for that thing. And I think, no, I think you need to, it's at-bats. Like how many at-bats do you get? And then you might not even know that it's like, I didn't know this was the thing. Sure. This kind of came about, I think, because I was looking to connect with people. Years ago, my now wife and I and a bunch of other young people I guess we were young at the time, did TEDx Utica, right? We were and so there was like the Trojan horse of that was wanted to bring innovative thinkers to Utica, but the Trojan horse was how do we get like 100 of the most creative, interesting people that we don't know into a room to get to meet each other? Because if you called it Utica Speaks, like nobody cares, right? But TED was something that people understood. And doing that exercise over 5 years, like I think that's one of the most valuable professional things I've ever done in my life that created more opportunity per like ounce of effort than anything. So you just never know, right? I think it's just like, just start doing stuff.
Yeah, and it's cliche, but you are always one relationship away from your entire life changing. Totally. And when you say like, I didn't think this would be the thing, I look at you and go, I don't know if it is the thing for you.
Might not
right?
be.
It might not be. And you're one connection, one relationship away, and you're proactively doing that. Give a quick plug for a John Gordon book. It's called The Shark and the Goldfish. I don't know if you're familiar.
I've heard of it, but
it's like an adult book, but written in like kid font and whatever. And the long and short of it is this. I'll save you $15. The fundamental difference between a shark and a goldfish is the shark has to go out and proactively hunt for food or the shark dies. The goldfish waits for someone to come by and feed it.
Sprinkle food.
That's good.
And then it gets but if someone forgets to feed the goldfish, it dies. And so the point being is, are you being strategic, intentional, proactive with these connections, with these relationships? Because every once in a while there's dumb luck that happens, but you can't base your life around that, right? And wait for it, so... you have a unique, I see this in some of our guests, a unique blend of right side, left side of the brain, which I applaud because I don't. I'm a total right side, but you're a deep thinker, a critical thinker, but you're also a creative, and you're able to take complex problems and offer simple solutions, which is a gift. And I love that you're doing that in our area.
Thank you.
With a heart for our area. So we didn't get into the wine questions. We'll have to have Ryan back.
Oh my God! I love wine. We could do a whole other episode on wine.
We didn't talk about the music. We didn't talk about the wine. Yeah. There's such a depth here. But let's rapid fire it because we're 45.
Okay, coffee order that fuels your brainstorms.
Double shot of espresso in the morning.
I would have a heart attack.
Favorite live music venue or gig that you've played?
The Electric Company back.
I remember
Utica.
that.
I remember that too.
Place.
Yeah.
Playing there. That was
one book or podcast you always recommend to creatives.
Oh, the book would be it's a trilogy of tiny books by Austin Kleon, and it's Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, and Keep Going. You can get all three of them for like $12 on Amazon, and they will change the way that you think about art and business.
Nice. Wow. Okay.
Great tip. I'm going to do that. Tech trend that you're currently geeking out on.
Vibe coding.
Back-to-back interviews.
Second person that has said that. I have no idea what it is, and I need to figure it out. Best advice you've ever received in one sentence.
My dad said, if you're not doing anything, you can always pick up a broom and sweep.
Dad's a worker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You bet he is.
If you could instantly master a new skill, what would it be?
Language. Learning a language.
I get that a lot from deep thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's one word that sums up your vibe or mission right now?
It's going to be 2 words. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
It's so many trends,
I
right?
know, right? We just had that Nemo reference. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. From Tony Robbins. He might have stolen it from someone else, but in life, you're living or dying, right? It's the Shawshank, right?
Yeah.
There is no neutral. You're either going forward or backwards. So keep going, keep swimming. Ryan Miller, I don't even want to label you as MVCC or Thincubator or Rust Belt because you're so much more than
Call me whatever you want.
So appreciate your time, man.
Thank you very much.